Fluctuation, interference, positional conditions. My telepathy is coming into communication, all psychological centers. To understand what's happening right now, we come into the ascension to all positions of humanity, their species on the system. Now we're coming into the graphing locations of the spiritual system of its earth core. Huge new resistance is coming into 5D telepathy. So the attraction line conditions, I saw it yesterday, is to the inner and outer core of its resistance no longer surfaces in space anomaly, which means that we're coming into new solar generator of 5D, full separation of communications. Everything I give you is chronological order. It's step-by-step procedures. You have to truly understand how humanity is coming into that point connection. To understand how powerful we are to all positions of space and time. So the 5D element position line connection is opening up all attractions in our bodies and our gravity reset line systems. So it's incredible how we're coming into this. Now, humanity was in a spiritual awakening, but the 5D is now in its own spiritual of its earth core awakening. Okay, so the 3D and the inner and outer core of its system is gone completely and fully. So this is the new generation lights. This is a new revelation as we're coming into the sovereignties of freedom. So these things have to happen in track line conditions. In position, you understand humanity is in that point center. You're in the point center of everything. Okay, the center line conditions is everything through 5D positions. But we all have to get into that position of time. So thank all subscribers and viewers. I've been watching my channels. I keep ground rising, force rising more than ever now. Things are surfacing faster and faster. The truth is surfacing faster and faster. Everything I give you is in chronological indifference, line connections to coloration line system, track to its location, to its body positions. So I went through high graph positions and I saw a plasma of a wall that was opened up. Now I was seeing the reality on the third side and reality on the fifth side. That was the inner core leaving for the very first time, right? Because it's never been done. This has never been done. So it's pretty fascinating when you see these things through perception, right? So it's amazing how we come into this, and it's all done through its condition of space and time, and how it's into all levels of switches. It's like switching on, switching off. Well, it's important to understand this. You know, when you understand the universe and the galaxy and how everything has to go back into its alignment, how it has to go forward in its position with humanity to its connection of telepathy and telekinesis. We all have to get these things across because that's what's happening right now. So the spiritual system is going through its ascension of full awakening of telepathy, and the 5D elevation line connection is coming into its spiritual birth, okay, of its revelation. Okay, whole central line connection of solar generation light system of 5D. Okay, your factoring line connections and your particle lights were separated for so many decades. Now it's all coming back in that position. Once we get the center core position in traction, we can set up the atom core. Okay, so it's a recording device line system to allocate positions to its graphing line center. The atom is in the center line connections. Now, once everybody comes back into their channel of its connection, the surface to its vibration and its frequency line system will open up all levels of telepathy to the mind systems. Okay, so that's what humanity is coming into right now. It's not just humanity we're dealing with. We're also here dealing with a new earth line, a new core, a new inner and outer surface. That's what's happening fully and completely. So basically, I thought I'd travel my team to show you what happens when you separate from the 3D to 5D, to actually see what I see. Okay, and these are the things I can do through perception. You guys are going to have your fields and your positions, so it's going to be like a flash. You see the flash of what's going on through positions. I think it's important you guys understand how reality can switch, okay, from one generation to the next. You have to understand why these things are happening. Why is there separation in 3D? Why is there coming into a full D of 5D, right? Fifth dimension, fifth line activation, fifth core, and its inner and outer surface of its position. Now, when I was going through my dream set last night, I was in Antarctica. I was in Alaska. It's amazing how we see these things in position. It's incredible force how we see the inner and outer worlds of the other side. It's like stepping into another dimension. stepping into another parallel, stepping into another paradigm, trying to figure out how to put your reality back in position to its location, right? The ascension and its position is all set up through its computer operation line centers. So it's amazing how the universal talks back. It talks back in all ways and forms. So the reason why humanity is coming into that system is to understand better communications, how the universe is set up in the mind. I'll say that again, how the universe is set up in the mind. The universal core and its inner and outer surface is now in the birthing system, okay, of a new crystalline position. Okay, so that's the position that we're coming into, because humanity's in that grounds. We got into that perception, we got into thought resistance, we got into force winning cycle of that connections. Now we're coming into a new earth core position of 5D, okay, which is the telekinesis, right? And humanity is going to come into that balanced position, right? So crazy stuff that's happening right now. We all have to be prepared. So I know everybody's trying to figure out this and figure out that, but see, it's all about understanding how it's affecting you in all ways and forms. Truly understand how space and time is in that position, and it's on its own clock. 0.1111, okay, 0.01 traction line connection is its equals box to its equation, right? So it's a new birthing system of E equals MC square. Okay, so we're in E equals, okay, MC velocity. Higher speed, high acceleration line connections. So it's in a new birthing line connection of Mother Earth. Okay, so when you go through my healing in that position, you understand all connections are in that line system. Okay, you come into your lights. Well, that's what 5D is coming into. It's coming into full light connection. Really, really powerful when we see these things on high levels. Okay. Glad to go, Samantha, Diane. How's everybody doing? So these are the times we're coming into, and we all have to be prepared, right? It's all about how powerful we are in that connection and how we have to really get aligned with each other, better communications. And it's all about understanding how this has to take place. You know, your factoring levels and your particle lights have to come back into the energy grids to its new rotation. So we're coming into a new birthing rotation. It's calculated and modified, right? Space is set up in a whole new sectoring level. The vector core position in this line signal is in a new graph line system. Okay, so truly understand the computer operation line system and how it affects everything through the ground formations. So it's going to open up new channels, new frequencies, and new energy, and everything through your resistance is no longer be in the nature's core. Okay, so the 3D elements line system is no longer there. Matrix 2 and O is also in a connection of force winding cycles of the wall is surfacing down. It's broken free. So it's breaking barriers. Okay, it's kind of like going through a universe and breaking down the walls and going through the center and busting through. Right, that's what it's like. It's like going do, right? So that's exactly what it is. It's breaking the surface of everything through vibration, coming into a new coloration of light, coming into activation, coming into new body traction, coming into new gravity position, and everything through. You're going to feel the masses of what's going on right now, because you're not just dealing with yourself. You're dealing with a new Earth core of 5D. Okay, so it's kind of like the actual planet itself and the acceleration of 3D is no longer there anymore. It's gone. It's disappeared. It's now in a new generation light, which is a new birthing light connections to 5D, because 5D is coming into the virtual reality of humanity, into their set point connections, to their game resistant line system, to the simulation. And this is where we come more into the simulation to truly understand what it is. We have to get those levels and everybody in position of balance location into their gravity reset programs. Okay, your program is the most important thing when it comes into 5D elements. Okay, you have 5 tractions, 5 activations, 5 lights, 5 colors, right? Your rainbow activation light conditions. You all start off with your 7 within the body, 5 within the atmosphere, 13 is positioned to the higher self-line conditions. Then you come into the crystalline. Okay, the crystalline 2th dimensional time position opens up your chakra communication centers. So truly understand how you get into these point views and how you get out of its 3D, of its position. Okay, and everybody through the team is going to feel that force. Okay, it's knowing how to understand what is birthing lines. Okay, what is a communication? What's electrical light system? Okay, what's a rotation cycle? So it's truly understanding coming into a new revelation. Okay, we had a revelation of 3D. Now we're coming into 5D revelation. Coming into sovereignty, coming into freedom. And it's breaking surface. It's breaking surface right now. Right? And that's what's happening all over. Okay. So it's trying to understand everything through its resistance and its vibration, what it's doing here, what it's doing there. Why is this happening? What's going to happen next? You know, it's all in a position where it's already done. Okay. I'm just presenting it to you in the presence so you know what's going on through its past. Okay. So think of it this way. The Earth, its position has its own core. That core knows exactly what it's doing through its pattern. It centralizes its system to its planet line conditions. That's where it has its own gravitational pull. It has its own dimensional time. It has its own intelligence. It has its own portal, and it has its own codes. Truly understand that a planet itself has its own protection. So humanity's got to come into that, right? So it's all about understanding the universe, okay, is in a now communication signal of 5D, which is the mind. Okay, so we got to get into more of the imagination. Okay, and that's what's happening right now. Okay, that's exact. So that's how it's affecting everything through its grounds, the power in the atmospheres. Right, so you have to fully get into your chakras and your line communications. You have to understand the cycles, the rotations. You have to understand dimensional positions. You have to understand more of your emotion. So when you look at the atmosphere and you look inside, you'll feel the effect. If you look outside, you'll feel the reaction of the physical. That's what's happening. Okay? So be cautious on these things because it's all about channeling within. You channel within, you have no problem. You have no resistance. Okay? Because nature is not on a core resistant level anymore. Okay? It's in a core resistant level of 5D. It has to come into its vibration of 5D. Okay? Everything has to be in 5D. Because the universe line system has to communicate to humanity through 5D. Understand? You guys are in one signal of one communication of one universe. That's all you guys are at. There's many universe line systems, and it's all allocated position in your timeline. Everybody's on the same timeline, just on a different channel frequency. So, for an example, when you understand Bashar, is very powerful how he connects to vibrational levels. Where you take one fork and you take another fork. Okay, so basically you bang the fork on the table, right, and you put the other fork, just lie it on the other side. It will bound and it will vibrate at the same time, right? So if you do this at the same time, it sets a new pattern. You understand? So it sets it a new wave. It sets a new signal. So it's true to understand how to communicate with one fork and another fork at the same rhythm, at the same time, at the same pattern. Okay? And that's what the universe line system is in right now. It's in full communication of telepathy signals, right? Better understanding why my ears are ringing, better understanding why I have a headache, why I have a migraine. Try to understand these things because you have to understand your grounds. Okay? So, and truly understand when you look outside, you're looking inside, not outside. Okay. And this is what we have to look at. All right. And my team will feel that. And that's the whole understanding is that they're prepared and they're aware. That's what my school provides. It gives you what you need to do every single day so you can protect yourself through lights of everything that you're up against. Everything that you see, everything that you touch, everything that you do, you know, has to do with your family, your kids, your loved ones, husband and wives, right? I mean, we all want to come across where we want to wake up in the morning and know that we feel good about ourselves and why we're in these positions and why we can get out of these positions. Everything's a why, right? Everything's a question. This whole life, humanity is one big question. Your questions can be answered inside, right? Now is the time to pay attention because everything in space is changed into 5D universe, galaxies, everything, even transportations, teleportation, wave line connections, and even Vega communication is in 5D. All planet line connections, billions and billion planet lines of alignments are all in 5D of communication. So you understand how powerful it is when you become that connections, to understand how to line signal everything into humanity of balance. Okay, so it's all about understanding that you have higher positions of planets, right? But you have to understand how I was setting up all signals of all different planets and all universal lines in digital line connection, right? Because it's nothing but a graph. Remember I was saying with the X2000 how it goes from one line into another line and it changes its shape right through the mind position, right? So you're changing time positions through shapes and you keep traveling, but you're changing the graph each time, right? Into a circle, into a star line connection, to space station rotation. It's what you do through imagination. And that's what humanity's coming into, fast tracks of its connection. Okay, better visual. Okay, less frustration, less confusion, less fear, more control, more power, less resistance, more activation, more color, more communication to each other. Okay, so it's really interesting when you come across these things, isn't it? It's fascinating when you see it because you become more aware of it, right? Especially when you're in my team, the team knows exactly, oh, okay, this is what Commander's doing right now. This is what I feel, right? When you feel things, you see things. If you don't see things, it's not coming clear to you, right? So we're just coming into the clear of what's happening with the Earth, okay, the navigation line signals, how it went into the actual matrix hologram TD reception, right? So it's fully out of that tube now, okay? And it's coming into a new tube resistant line connection to a new TV reception of balance of telepathy. And the thing is too, is that you're doing telepathy and you're not even aware of it. And this is all done through change of the universe. The universe has to understand you fully and completely through the grounds. Okay, and that's the true understanding, how it has to have full communication to you, right? To its shape, because it sees you through light. All right. So it's coming into dimensional time, your dimensional beings, the birthing line connections, right? Well, like I said, the Earth is coming into its own birthing of telepathy and telekinesis. So we're going to travel there. Okay, we're going to go to positions. So I'm going to do an audio graph. I'm going to do redirect position line connections. I'm going to put you guys through your own projectors. And basically, we're going to travel to positions and what I see. Okay, so I'm going to rewind everything so you can understanding what happened and why you're in this position, how you went from 3D to 5D. And when you see these things, you understand, okay, now I understand, right? So these things can be done in all ways in positions of cycle line connections. If you're trying to set up your programs and trying to understand your positions, I can do release tracks. Release track is kind of like understanding, putting higher positions of programs so you can come into more clarity of what you see through the plasma interference, right? Because when you're dreaming and you're not understanding something, it's not coming in because you're not connected to its imagination. Once you come into the imagination, you come into its illustration, its diagram, which becomes its map to its GPS location, right? So I can help you with that too. That's another healing platform. So it's amazing how we come into this positions of time. If you're trying to understand your programs, I can help you with that, with the interference. It's getting in the interlocking interdimensional positions. It's understanding the dimensions and get out of your paradoxes. You don't want to trap your ego line system anymore because you're extremely high in light, okay? You don't want to go down in resistance. You want to go higher out of its resistance. So these are things you have to look at too when you're going into space and time, okay? Because there's anomalies in some of the levels of form where you have to come into higher positions of galaxies, coming into more weather, coming in more into the bioatmosphere. Okay, bioatmosphere is nanotechnology. It's space thought. Okay, it's a spectrum. Okay, it's the outer limits. Okay, it's the quantum field line system. So to understand where are you in your TV reception through channeling interference, you have to send your frequencies. You have to stand all connections to its resistance. Okay. But you have to balance these things out with communication. right, with each other, right? Which is mind telepathy and telekinesis. We've done that already, channeling already with we did the digital pad, and I was saying, okay, what is this? What is this? I draw it out. You guys are clicking in. We do hand formation, signature, channel line connections, line channel interference position. Now, I'm doing this. This is a circle. This is a triangle. Circle, triangle, circle in the center, take it out of the equation. Same thing, just with the hands, not on the digital pad with its marker. So you have to have the balance between both because everything's communication. Once you synergize your line condition, you have your gravity lock line system, then you can go out and channel within and do the hand interference to its atmospheric positions of time because it starts reading you through signals of 5D because all planet line connections is in communication across line connections to all humanity positions of 5D. And this is what I needed to do. So everybody's in that position to each planet on each solar systems. We have so many solar systems, so many universe line systems. We have so many calculations of web gravity line system. So it's amazing how we come into the balance of everything through communication. So the universe wasn't communicating with anything. It's in full communication now, right? With humanity of 5D. Okay, and this is how you do these things. You have to reset computers, realign positions, open up track line connections. You come into the synapse. Okay, you come into the central lines. Okay, you come into the neurons, the electrons, the protons, the photons. Okay, the gleraphons. A gleraphon is basically a solar panel location to an audio interference position location center line system that's allocated positions to different frequencies of vibration. Now, you truly understand the calculation modification signals, right? By putting yourself to all planet line connections, all universal line system. Okay, so you guys are in one universal line of one dot center, what puts you into the telepathy of communication to each other. Okay, but each universal line system has to be in its alignment. Okay, so the universe can communicate to all levels of humanity to its connection. Okay. So it's pretty fascinating when you come across these things, right? All right, so black test method, I don't know why the tongue emoji was typed in. You need to do that. Jill, how's it going? I've noticed the telepathy has been happening more automatically, and that's exactly what it is, Samantha. It's automatically, and you're not aware of it. You're not aware of it. Is this a dream? Did I just think of this? Did I just imagine this? So that's what's happening right now. So the universe has full alignments with everybody. And this is what I had to do. I had to change the atmospheres and the temperature readings and the clocking system. And, it's all about understanding how to do these through digital line connections, right? It's very powerful how you come into the atmospheres of 5D of time, space of time, communications of time, activations of time, colorations of time, lights of time, travels of time, okay? Illustration diagrams and maps of time. There's so many, complications, but the compilation is you through the gravity line system. Remember, it's the square. You don't see outside now. You see everything inside, and then everything comes to you, right? And then you see everything inside and outside, and then you can describe what it is without even thinking. There's no thinking, okay? There's only knowing and doing, and it's already happened. And that's exactly a perfect example, okay? It has been happening more automatically. So it happens automatically. So the brain positions that where it's coming into has to stand its gravity position. It has to understand it's already happened. And then you understand, why is this happening? So you stop questioning your values and you get into more speed through acceleration because we're no longer an E equals MC squared. Okay, we're in a higher level of acceleration. We have to be in a certain position so we can get into the track line connections of 6th dimension. Okay, so this is what's happening right now. Everything around you through what you think of through knowing and doing is going to be automatic. So the mind system has to get its calculation modification into its balanced position of its gravity lines. Okay, that's where it comes in the central line connections to its ego, right? And the ego is going to go, what just happened? That was automatic. That just whipped right by me. So the ego's not aware now. You understand? It just something went by. When you go outside and a bird just flies right by you and you said, what was that? I didn't see it, but did I see it? So it's all about going into slow motion, right? It's like going linear into space, like, and you actually see it. And then you can describe what it is and what just happened, right? So you really can't ignore anything anymore, okay? Because the universe lines and everything through position of portals and all communications is in cycle. It's coming into a new generation, a new revelation of its position, okay? So this is where it gets really, really interesting, really exciting for everybody, because everything that you do through your thoughts is going to be automatic now. Now you just have to understand how to channel it to each other. So what I like to do is like to travel you guys into what I saw, okay? Because Samantha wants to know, how can we see through a commander's perception? Well, I'm just showing you. These are the things I can do, okay? Energy track, line condition, energy fields. I got to put you into high positions of resistance. So you come into line signals of graphing line connections to illustration diagram positions, okay? The mind conception line system. So allocated position of time location. We're going to do this extremely fast. Teleport line communications to all the 14 line positions. Bring in the XT1000 line system. Okay, so you guys are at the bottom here. Okay, it's going to wheel you up to connections, rendezvous position, XT1000 line connections. Bring in the track line connections of XR1000. Yeah, so an XR1000 is a lot faster than an XT. We use a lot of XTs for crops. We have so many communication positions. Each universal line system has its own, okay, UFO line center. And that centers its operation through its manufacturing, which centers positions to its graph line system. Okay, so we're going up. All right, so here we are. You guys are up in there. Zoom across position. There you go, into space. All right, so I do this extremely fast so you actually see what's going on. So going into dimensional time, going through portal line connection position, rotation. Okay. Good music. A lot better than elevator music. Okay, so it's open up portal. All right. Here we go. XR1000 is coming in. The equation position. All right. Dropping you guys off. All right, so you're there. Okay, so basically what we're going to do. Track line connection position, open up plasma interference position, show them what I saw through perception. Yeah, everything through Noche line connections. Noche is night. All right, so it's grab its line system. Okay, so that's exactly what it is. It's on the other side. So you can see planet line connection like this in position. Okay, so it's on the other side position. You guys are here. It dropped you off. Okay, you're seeing everything through connections right now. So everything that's happening right now is a calculation modification. You're going to see the disintegration line connections, the 3D element position falling off its track. So it's kind of like losing its separations. Like starts here and it just comes into a new shedding, right? It's like, right? And this just basically, okay? And this comes in, right? So what happens when something is birthed, what happens? It grows and grows. It finds its rotation. It finds its vibration. It finds its signal. It finds its digital line connection. It tries to find its center line system, right? So once it finds that, it finds its true coloration into 5D of telepathy line connection. So when we surface something new, the universal line system has to understand its position to other planet locations of a universal line system. So it's like echo. It's like, oh, yes. So it's an echo, right, in space. So it's vibration that just It's really fascinating. Come into that, right? So have fun. You guys are going through the graphs. You're going through the flashes. You're going to see what's going to happen from the 3D separation into the 5D element of a new core, of an inner and outer, of a new solar generator. All right. Have fun. Give you guys 10 minutes. I have to do it extremely fast because it's a reverse cycle. Okay. Right. If it was a present position, that'd be okay. But because it's last night, right? So you've seen a review, everything that through my perception. It's amazing how you can rewind your projector and your film to its projection of what you want to see, right? So everything you see is through my perception. So Nicola? So let me know what you guys see. You're going to see a lot. So you're seeing the birthing system of 5D, which is exciting. And you're seeing the 3D leave. Okay? And how it's set up. Okay, how the vibrations are set up, and energy and frequencies and colors and lights. How everything comes in. We're all attached to everything. The universal line connection is there's no separation, there's no ego. So when we set something in the center, okay, what happens? It creates something new. So everything through vibration changes. So it's a new coloration, it's a new pattern, it's a new digital line, it's a new planet line connections to a navigation signal. So everything through the planet line connection reaches its position, it all comes in, right, and creates its own anomaly of an atom. Okay, that's what it is. It's helping everything out. So humanity's coming into that position where they can help each other, right, rather than just focusing on the self-centered system of the ego. Okay. No, not new glasses. No, these are the thicker ones. These are my favorites. I'm getting something similar to this, but they're a lot lighter, right? So I see a round circle, but the bottom is green. The other half is either open, illuminated, outlined, or just clear. Yeah, so that's what you're seeing, Samantha. You're seeing the connections of the rotation cycle coming into new generation light system to new solar generator. Okay, so you're seeing the split, right? The other half is either open, illuminated, outlined, or just clear. So you're seeing the split. It's like a glaze of glue, right? But it's a plasma. So it's just, that's what it does, right? And then when the 3D leaves fully, the particle lights goes into the galaxy and wind spins, right? The magnetic highway information, and just sucks it up. The particle separates and just blends into the all universal line systems. And then you come into a new channel. Okay, that's how everything's set up to position, to new activation of 5D, to all universal line systems, right? So you can travel your voice, all right, to all positions now, mind telepathy. And that's what it is. It's an open frequency to all levels of the universal line systems, right? It's calculated and modified, and it's going to be automatic. Okay, so you just see a black and white ladder. Okay, so you're climbing that ladder. Okay, so you go into dimensional time position. Everybody will see something different. 8 minutes remaining. Yeah, it's like I can see a new lines of shapes being layered down and connected. See, there you go. So she's coming into the old version of the three-dimensional line system, leaving and coming into 5D activation of a shape of its connection. So it's coming into a new computer operation. Okay. See, this is what you get when you go up to higher levels of chakras of understanding. You have to understand how powerful chakras are and what they're used for. It's for you to communicate to higher levels of space. Okay? So it's important you understand what happens when you come into the healing. Okay? Like I said, you start off in your rainbow activation, your crystallines. And the more you come into dark, you're coming more into space. You're coming into more atmospheres of oxygen levels of planets. There's so many planets and so many different elements. There's so many different atmospheres. Like it just blow you away, right? Especially when you cross over to the other side of the solar systems. So it's fascinating. I had Samantha seeing that. What's everybody else saying? 7 minutes remaining. Right. This is good. This is good because you got to find out where you are when it comes into your soul identification of what you see through your commander. You have to really understand what you need to practice on with your senses. You have to practice on your perception, what you see. You have to practice on what you hear or what you command, or you think through taste and touch. So basically, you have to have all senses of everything. You should know what space smells like, what space tastes like, what it hears, what does it feel, how does it react, how does it disengage, how does it go through its attachments. You have to truly understand what it is because it's all you inside, which reflects everything outside. So once it cleared, it started clearing. Okay. Okay, so you're in a generation-like position of a low graph line system. So you're seeing something perception, but you're seeing another graph line center. So you're seeing oil on water. Okay. So you have to truly understand when you're doing through meditation. And I keep saying to everybody, please meditate. It's the most important thing. You have to do that now because all your thoughts are all automated. Okay. What I mean by automated, it's already happened. So you have to understand you're coming into more of precognition through the mind. So when something happens automatic, just get into more meditation of the mind. Really open it up. Keep it open. Don't close the mind. Don't close your perceptions. Keep your eyes and ears and your mouth in control of what's happening. All right. That's the only way you're going to go into your involvements. That's the only way you're going to get into your upgrades, your downloads, and your uplinkings, and your upgrading systems. Okay, of communication to yourself and to each other. Okay, so really get to know the space inside you. Okay, really get to know the time inside you first before you cross over to their space and time. Okay, this is my space and time. That's why you see things react in the physical system. That's why you see orbs. That's why you see pixies. That's why you see planets. That's why you see illuminations. That's why you see gateways. That's why you see UFOs, right? Because you're projecting, okay, everything from inside. You're the projector, and you're projecting what you want to see of what you create through its imagination. And it affects everything through its physical system, okay? But here on in, everything that happens with your thoughts is going to be automated, meaning it's already happened. You just have to understand, whoa, did I just say that? Or, somebody's coming at you and say, yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. I know what you want. Well, how do you know what I want? I didn't say anything. Don't worry, I know what you're saying. That's what we're coming into, right? So you have to understand the suggestive, you have to understand the objective, and you have to understand everything through its synchronicities and its connection to its ego, which has to center line the connections to your gravity sets of its position. That's where you got to stay within your meditation, okay? Because a lot of people are more confused more than ever now because they don't realize that everything that they're going through their thoughts is already automated, okay? So I'm seeing a rainbow spinning sparkling orb. Okay, that's a good start. Yeah, everybody sees something different. So you're seeing something that relates to you through perception of what I said. So whatever I said, you'll see something. So you have to understand what I see, you see different because you're at a different level of vibration. That's all it is. It's what you see through projectors and what you project outside its system. Okay, that's how Samantha is able to see the vibrations. How's she able to see the circle pounding down, making an echo circle blue, and then boom again, and then the white. So she's seeing the transformation from 3D to 5D. Right? You're all seeing the same thing, but in a different communication space and time. All right? You're all aligned through each other. You're all seeing the same thing, but in different perception. Okay? So that's why it's so fascinating. Okay? Also an echo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 5 minutes remaining. If you understand your dreams are just flashes, you just have to understand how it's created through pictures, right? Especially when you're in sleep mode. And when something comes in, it's like this, right? And then when it comes in picture, right? And then you have to understand what it is. Okay. So your mind is trying to communicate through you, through telepathy, through its illustration, which is fascinating because it's own imagination. Okay. So it's going to keep going like this until you understand what it is. Okay. That's what we're coming into right now. So our dream sequences and our spine connectors are coming more to form. Better position, right? Better to see these things. Like try to understand when you're dreaming and don't squint your eyes either, because it changes reflection line centers to your eye interference. So don't do that. When you're sleeping, don't try to do this. Don't do this, okay? Because you're hurting your optical lines, okay? You're hurting your spectral lights, right? And you could pop something into the circuiting line connection. Don't do that. So just basically close your eyes and just focus. Something's coming in. Something is coming in. Space and time is coming into you now. That's what's happening. Space and time is coming into you through its transmitting and receiving. It's transmitting something and you're receiving it. It's transmitting and you're receiving. What is it? You don't know what it is until you focus through telepathy. Remember, everything is done through the mind. UFOs and travel line connections. I travel through teleportation line connections to all fleet positions through the mind. You navigate UFO through the mind. Okay? It's not like a car. Remember, you're not in the physical. You're in the spiritual connections now. Okay? So you got to go into the mind. The mind travels everything. So use the mind to travel, right? So let's say we come into a box like this, right? Now it's trying to give you something, but you don't know what it is. And this is what is interaction. Try to understand what it is to communication, security line defense. Okay? So when you come into those positions, it comes into a higher location, right? To its ascension. Try to understand the communication of anything through track. Okay? It's really interesting we see these things, right? Now, this is a dimensional realm connections. This is where you guys have to truly understand these things because pictures are going to be drawn into your connection of the mind system. So the mind's coming into more of visualization, right? So once you understand the positions, okay, this is a realm location, security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? 5-dimensional time, downshift line connections, okay? This is a cube rotation of box surface, okay? This is a cycle line connections to a line communication signal to a box level connection. So this is what? What is this? This is the projector. This is the projection. See how it comes out through position? Right? So everything is done through triangle. Everything is done through triangle. Okay? And that's what makes it exciting. Try to understand what it is. Right? So that's the time we're coming into. It's automatic response. And you have to figure out that, wow, okay, this happened automatic. And did I just do mind telepathy to want somebody already? I said, yeah. So when you come into that, you come into this. One to another. So when you think of a thought, right? And this person here, okay, is going like this. Try to understand what it is. Right? Don't try to understand it. Know it. So knowing it, you know exactly what it is. And what it is a key. Okay? And then you send it back to the person, right? And the person basically goes, you know, wow. Okay? So there's no thought process. Travel recognition, time position, and mind telepathy connections. Universe is giving you a break, basically, right? So I had to do these things to position the digital line system. It's all about the computer operation and how it's put up. Okay, so it's really fascinating. 4 minutes remaining. All right. So when you come into this position, start off small. Start off with letters, words, shapes, whatever. So you just come into that. Right. You do it again. All right. Okay, and then you can pretty much do it from 1, and then you can do it from 2, and then you can do it from 3. 3 different people. Front, back, lean. Okay, so these 3 people, here already have their words. You have to figure out what it is through my telepathy. Try to understand the communication as interference positions. Okay, it's all about vibration, getting the rhythm patterns through these conditions because you understand their shapes, right? Shapes is very important to understand these things. 3 minutes remaining. Okay. Once you get into that position, okay, it applicates this level to higher position line centers. So basically, you understand the grounds of its shape. Okay, you understand the conditions when it comes into travels of 3, 6, and 9. Okay, and then when you get into that position, you know exactly, you can't really know positions of space and time in them until you understand yourself with space and time. So it's the mastering of communication inside your system, knowing exactly key. Wow. Did you just think of key? Right? Rhythm, vibration, pattern, interference. So you're interlocking dimensional time to that person, and you're basically saying, wow, it's pretty amazing how you do these things. And the thing is, it's done instant. It's automatic. It's already done. It's already gone into the future. You're just presenting it back. So space and time comes back to you and say, listen, that person said key. So the more you get faster and faster and faster, the more you can read their alignments of past, present, and future. Okay. So 3 minutes remaining. I saw a square earlier, like a doorway. Yeah. So Nicola is in that position of perception. So she's seeing a doorway, trying to figure out what it is. So, and the only way to understand that is to mind telepathy to it, right? Remember, when you're leaving your positions of your gravity line connections and you're traveling into space, you can't use it through the physical of understanding of thought. You have to go through the mind telepathy to communicate with these things, guys. You have to communicate to its imagination. That's the only way you can understand what your door is seeing. Do I go through the door? I don't know. I'm not sure. Where am I? I don't know. Not sure, right? So you're not sure of anything. Why? Because you don't keep your meditations open. Okay? So you all have to come more into the imagination of the mind to its creation. So when you go into the mind, okay, it opens up its concept. It opens up its travel and knows exactly its shape. So when you're drawing things out in space, it's already done. It's already done through the mind. You're just presenting it back to its presence of its past. Okay, that's the connections of the Orion's belt, the gateways, past, present, and its future. So you got line signal balance with everything through telepathy. Right? And before you know it, you'll be able to say key. And when you say key, what do you have? You have the universe. What's after that? Energy, frequency, vibrations. Then you have the keys to the mind of you, right? So how to communicate to the operations of the universe? But you have to learn how to communicate to yourself first so you can communicate to others, to know exactly. It's all about the same rhythm. You're trying to reach that frequency of their rhythm. That's all it is, right? So it can be suggestive. It can be nautical. It can be in that position. It can be spectrum. But truly understanding your perceptions and what you see is the most important, right? So when you're coming more into the mind, you're coming in more adaptation on how to communicate through its illustration of its imagination, right? So there's no thought process. It's already done, and it's automatic. You just have to use, it's kind of like on your first instincts. You have your second, third, fourth, fifth instincts. I said, who do I talk to now? What's going on? So you have to balance out everything through its connection and what's happening with you. That's how you basically program your balanced positions to your gravity reset lines. Okay. 2 minutes remaining. I'm having psychological issues, too distracted. But see, that's exactly what it is. Jill's in position and why she's distracted, right? Because she's not opening the concept of navigating through the mind of telepathy, which is very hard to do. Very hard to do. So it's like me looking at you and knowing exactly what you're thinking of. And then you come to me and say, Commander, thank you. I needed to answer that question. You just answered it for me. Automatic. Things have to be automatic. That's telepathy. You send it back, that's telekinesis. You understand? So I keep seeing tube on the inside. It looks like a bunch of mechanical shapes on the inside of the tube. Yeah. Samantha is very well aware, so she's understanding that too. The new connections coming into the new matrix line of the simulation. That's powerful stuff. Thoughts are instantaneous. That's very true. Yes. I dream that I meditate in my dream. It's like when I'm sleeping, I'm awake at the same time. Yeah. Well, the psychosis of sleep deprivation. It's the same thing with connections of Fight Club, when Edward Norton wasn't sure if he was awake or if he was asleep. Okay, so you're kind of like in and out of realities. You're watching TV, and all of a sudden you're just like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And you realize you're at a higher vibration. You just vortex to another reality position. You're still watching TV, but nothing's making any sense now. I say, "Am I awake or am I asleep?" So your realities are not in check. Okay, so this is understanding that you're doing light telepathy, but the heart doesn't understand its portal line connection. You have to understand when you're in the mind, you're doing telepathy to space, and that's what we're coming into. You can't communicate to space outside. It's got to be inside through the mind, and it's all done through its imagination. Okay, so. All right. So we're going to reverse the cycle line connections, change the graph line position back in location center. Okay. All right, so we're in this position, right? So you're going to go through another portal line connections, rendezvous positions back into 5D position. Take them out of the graph line system, story frame position. They saw everything you need to do from 3D to 5D. Open up portal line connections. Central line their session. Yep. Okay. From here to position. Okay. Back to 5D. So there you go. From there to here, right? So you guys are back home. So that's what I'm saying. You got to close the portals. You just have to understand how to do it through its imagination. That's all it is. Everything is imagination, and that's where we're coming into, right? Imagination. Imagine. Okay. Imagine. Imagine. You're taking things out of the equation, guys. Imagine. Imagine. Okay, so everything that you're doing, what are you doing? You're doing it through imagination. So when things come to you, right, through transmitting and receiving, it's doing mind telepathy. Universe is talking back to you, but through vibration. You have to understand what it is, because it's imagination of an illustration of a diagram of a map. You have to understand your dreams. Your dreams are all interpreted through the mind. It's all done through communication. Okay? It's all done through communication, but it's automatic response. It's sending you something. Do you understand what it is? All right. So you got a planet location. It's sending you something. Do you understand what it is? Okay. The planet is sending you something. It's already sending you something, right? Do you understand what it is? So when you send it back, right? When you send it back, now you're communicating, right? Okay. So when you come into that position, you come into the triangle line connections of its division line system to know exactly that's created in its dimensional time connection for its guidance, its position to its location. And basically, you send it out, travel it to recognition of time, to its location, to its GPS line system. So it's amazing how the universal system is set up, how it's all done through the mind. Yeah, and the mind is from inside, not outside. The mind isn't created outside, it's created inside. Everything is inside you. Everything you do, everything you say, everything you touch, everything you eat, everything you walk is inside. Your whole body has to change inside. Okay? Change. Okay? Inside. Okay, change inside. So it's amazing how you come across these things, right? It's incredible force, isn't it? When you see these things and come into track line connections, it goes into its version of its line system to its position location. Imagination, right? This is all done from change outside. I use the C interdimensional time, right? See, we all have to understand how our imaginations are everything. Okay, and a lot of people, they only imagine when they're asleep, and that's what they're to understand. You're going through a whole level of dimensions of dreams, and those dreams are real because your higher self, okay, is trying to understand you. If it doesn't understand you, it's never going to be in the mind, is it? It's only going to be in the central line of the ego. So there's the separation right there. Okay. Great that you understand that. I got your email there, CC. So I'm having nausea, not psychic issues. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. That's just vibration. Of your gravity locks are off center. So basically, Jill's in position right now. She's in a gravity lock line center in a different shape position. So it's all about understanding positions of time, location. Center aligns its activation line connects to its position, location, center line system. So it locks in its division location, like this in traction. Okay, so she's in a 4-waving cycle line connections instead of a 3 position. That's what's happening with Jill right now, right? And it's all connected to the grounds. So the acting cycles are off, and that makes her nausea. So line communications, the chakra line communications to its inner force position, right? So basically, all I got to do is take that circle line connection out. Once I take it out, she's back on traction. So it's just reversing the center line and taking it out in its position because it's on her shoulder blade. Okay. So now she's back on location. She's good to go. And this here changes position. It changes position, it goes back into the ground line connections of its universal line system. Right? See, she had 4 waving rotations instead of 3. You can't have 4. That confuses everything through the anatomy of position to its physical line center. So basically, the shapes of the ground line connections change the inner surface. So she had 4 rotations, where you're only supposed to have 3. The ground's the power in the atmosphere. So when you add something on and you're not sure, that's confliction right there. Okay? So, and now she's fine. Amazing how you do it through an illustration. I close my eyes after looking at the sun. I can see dots on the sun of the different rings of colors around it, and then some sort of rod coming out of the top and it's following me. Yeah, that's a rainbow activation interference position. So you just saw the connections of Orion's belt and its gateway to its present line system to its eagle line connection position. So you're in a full rotation of graph line system of telepathy now, Samantha. That's excellent. Good for you. So if you're seeing something come down, it's coming into a magnetic force and it's balancing out your rotations. Right? And that's why Jill's off cycle, because she's in 4 rotations and not 3. You can't have too many conversions. You can't have too much electrical lights. You can't have too many high positions if you don't understand the program setting of its position. Okay. So, you can learn these things as you go. It's just everything causes an effect. You understand what it is, right? So that's the connections of the new sun rotations position. It's giving you dots of the sun in different angles, right? So are these 2 suns in our solar systems? We have one yellow sun, right? which is gravitational 5D position. So it's in the mind telepathy of communication to your transmission lights of your teleporting line connections, which means that you're coming into your TV box reception, you're coming into your computer reset line centers to its new gravity line position, to a new space anomaly. Okay. But no, not in channel interference. No. 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 There's not two suns in the solar systems. There's many moons. See, you understand one central line connection is operation to everything, the universal core. It sets its system, the magnetic highway information system. Sun just sits there. So the sun is the I dot position to everything. So it's the center line connections to all levels of universal planet line connection. So it's complicated stuff, right? You can have sun stations, but not two suns. No. No, only in dream set lines. Okay, so you can have, 14 different suns in your dream line. You can have 67,000 pyramids in your dream lines. But in the physical element system, no, there's only one yellow sun. And it's all about changing the attractions, digital line connections, the perceptions, the TV reception, putting everything, the sun, into the simulation of 5D of humanity to its telepathy, of its telekinesis. Okay? So think of it. That would be a huge, huge distraction if there were two suns. Right? So you'd be getting two different channels from two different universal line. So if you had two suns in one universal line connection of 5D, what would that do? Confuse the mind of telepathy. Right? So now you know. Right? I mean, you could have many suns in your dream sets, but not in its reality that you live in. No. No way. No. Because the sun is everything. Okay, it's everything to you when it comes into radiation, coloration, activation, colors, lights, teleportation, waving energy, light connections. Once you send the adaptation to go to higher levels of your computers, okay, it's everything through your dreams. It's everything through your connections. And the moon is everything through your emotion to its connection, and your navigations to the earth line system is your thoughts going forward in time. Okay, so once you understand you're floating in space, and once you understand why you're floating in space, you don't question yourself anymore, do you? Because you're coming more into the mind, right? So when you come into full light, right, you come into high acceleration of speed, right, which is really fascinating. So you be coming out of this, you know exactly what's going on, right? You won't see this as this anymore. You'll see it for what it is, through traction. Right? It's amazing when you come into these time positions. All right? It's amazing when you see these things. Okay? So you understand what it is. So when space and time gives you something, okay, it's like an abstract. And if you look at it, you can actually see a picture inside. Okay? That's the creation of the universe, of what just sent to you, transmitting and receiving. So don't look at this as the dimension. Look at what's inside the dimension. Box, pyramid, triangle, circle rotation. That's what's given to you. Space and time gives you something. You just have to understand how to put it all together and how to travel through it to its position. Right? Or how to go to higher lines, some higher security leveling systems. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-dimensional time position. Okay? Well, that's an interesting proactive system there, CC. How do I create my next home? Well, your home is already created. You just have to understand how to use it. You have to understand how to create it. See, if you don't know how to create something, it's not created yet. So the thought process is already done. You just have to understand how to use it. So it's all about understanding, putting your thoughts in connections that are going forward, right? So if you want to create something, you don't do it through thinking, you do it through knowing. So the imagination is already there. It's already there. Okay. So the house that I want already, done. It's done. I just draw it out and I give it to you. That's how fast you can draw through the mind system. So it's allocated positions of so many line systems, right? It's knowing how to do these things in structural line connections. Okay. It's amazing how you see these platforms, guys. It really is. You know, it's just an incredible force where you can really understand what you're doing through traction. Okay. So when you get into that position, you can truly understand how you structure these positions, what your house want to look like. Okay, and this is all positions. So doing structural line connections, you can start through anything that you want to do through position. Okay. So if you come into that position, you come to everything that you want to create. Okay. So the mind is already set. So it's already done its telepathy from one to another already, it has its creation already. Remember, you're coming into fast rotations of atoms to molecular light. It's the placebo, which is its thought, and the cortex, which is its dream. So you put the cortex and the placebo together, okay, then it creates its anomaly of its atom of speed. So it creates everything through its imagination of its illustration, right? So when you get with thoughts like this, everything that you see, you're trying to figure out what it is. It all comes together. Now, these are just thoughts. So this is given to you through the universal line system. You understand what it is. It's just thoughts, it's space, but it's given to you. You just have to understand how it creates its imagination through what you want, through its thought process and its manifestation. Can you see the picture? Can you see the picture inside? So the operation of the universe is all done through vibration. Understand it's already in its position. Now, can you actually see the picture inside? If you can't see it through the universal line system, can you? All right? It's the mindset, yeah. Can you actually see what's inside? What's in the middle? Always focus on the middle center. Remember, we see things from inside out, not outside in. Inside out, guys. And it's always in its graph. Okay. Triangle. Okay. Remember, I just did this through no thought process. It's knowing it's already done. It's already set in space. A rocket. See how your imagination goes wild? So you're getting wrong information from the universe, right? So you're not ready. You're not ready for it because it's not at your vibration through perception, right? Until you understand what it is, this is what you need to do. So it comes into its intelligence. Its intelligence. Do you see the intelligence now? So, and this is all a start. Everything is given to you a plasma interference. So it's sending you a story through the universe. Space and time comes to you. You just have to understand what it is. And the center line, you don't go through the outside. That's where you say rocket. That's why you say star lines. That's where you say lines. You're not putting your mind telepathy together. It's the inside. Yes, it's already done, right? So that's how I know that there's no thought process. I do this and I go, Okay, wait a minute, I don't know what it is. What did I just finish doing? I should already know what I'm doing with the dots because it's already presented to me through the universal line system. To its okay. So yeah, it looks like a dinosaur. Okay. And then when you piece it all together, what does it become? What does it become? All right. Amazing, isn't it? And I just did this through dots without even thinking. Right? Look at this. Do you see how powerful your mind is? The universal system sends you energy, okay, through dots, through frames of dots, through illustration and lines of dots, but it doesn't present you with the picture. You have to figure out what it is. So you have to communicate through the mind to its universal of its operation through its computer line system, because the operation of the universe is nothing but energy, vibration, and frequencies. All right? Okay? Powerful, isn't it? See? This is all automatic response. And it's all about getting balance with everything that is given to you through transmitting and receiving. Everything that you do doesn't matter. Everything that you do is already created through the mind system. You just have to understand what is given to you inside, guys, inside. And then you piece it all together. It gets more complicated too, right? Because this is how the universe comes back at you. It sends you these things. It sends you codes. You understand what it is. And then when you understand what it is, it becomes intelligence. Right? When it comes to intelligence, it disappears. Whatever I drew, it's gone. Right? So when I say it disappears, right? So it's all about the magnetic force connections to its vibration, where you have to have balance with everything. Everything through my thought is traveling. So everything that I create is already created for me. It doesn't look like much, but it's already created. Okay? So instead of saying all this, look inside. Look inside. Try to understand what it is inside. Okay? So when you start seeing things come together, you understand everything through its shape of what it is, through its connection. It gives you everything that you need to know. Okay? So this is cylinder rotation line connections. All right. Now it wants me to set up a circle rotation. So when you draw something out, it's telling you exactly what to do next. So if I know exactly what it is, okay, I know how to understand its position of time. So it's circle rotation line connections. It comes out as track line connections, security line defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So give me 12 round line connections, dimensional time position. Okay. So the universe is very powerful. It's the most powerful thing, but it's all through the mind, guys. And we have to get into our imaginations. We have to get into that's the only way you can only communicate. And the reason why you're so confused is because when the universe comes back at you, it doesn't give you frames. It doesn't give you illustration. It doesn't give you pictures. It only gives you things through vibration, frequencies, and energy. It's your job to picture it. It's your job to piece it together. It's your job to program it. It's your job to process it. It's your job to activate it. It's your job to understand it. Okay? That's the operation of the universe. All right? Powerful, isn't it? It's powerful when things are given to you. All right? I thought this was pretty fascinating. And this is all done through dots. So the universe sent me this. I just have to figure out what it is and what do I do next? See, when you're giving something from the universe, right? Because it's you that wants something. You want something, but it's not going to give you a picture. It's not going to give you an illustration. It's not going to give you a diagram. It's going to give you something back to energy, frequency, vibration, and its resistance of its harmonics to its vibration, right? So, and when you start piecing it all together, you start seeing more things, right, through the mind. You got to go into the mind. So if something's like this is coming at you, right, you understand what it is, right? And if you understand it, it's going to come at you more. Okay, and it's going to come at you more into the mind. Okay, now once you understand the calculation modification, you understand the computer operation line center, you send it back out. And you create it through your thought. So what it's giving you is giving what you need. You can't manifest these things because you think it's an illustration or diagram. The universe doesn't work like that. It only works with letters, numbers, and shapes. But it's all about understanding how you put dots together to its position to understand what it is through the mind of its telepathy to its telekinesis. That's why it's so powerful. Okay, especially when you're sleeping. Because when you're sleeping, like I said, close your eyes, but on the other side, your eyes are open. Okay, it's very hard if you don't understand how to do these things. So there's a difference between being awake and being spiritually awake. You can be awake to that position, but you're not open through the spiritual of its connection to its perception. So you're not going to see anything through its triangles, are you? Oh, I see black. Because you're not connecting to the spiritual of understanding of what it looks like on the other side position. You're just looking what it's like to close your eyes on the physical system. You can't think in the physical system. You have to think and know everything in intelligence system. So you got to cross over, right? Time shift, time jump, time vortex. So when you come into that positions, you come into higher levels of what it is, right? So more and more, they'll come to you through structures, letters, and shapes and numbers. Okay? And then you understand what it is. Until you don't understand, it's going to keep sending you these dots. They're going to keep sending you lines. Line interference. What is this? What is that? What is that? What is it? Universe sent that to me. What is it? What is it? When you piece it together, remember, it's something that you created that you want. Comes into what is it? What is it? What is it? Right? Very powerful. Very, very powerful. See? Now you're connecting. Now you're connecting. So basically, when they're sending you something, right, you have to complete it so you can send it out to get it through manifestation. So the universe wants to help you out, but it doesn't go through structures until you understand the mind of its structure to its telepathy. That's the only way you can communicate inside the position. It's exactly what it is. Very good. It's exactly what it is. It's a duck. See, you guys are connecting. You're connecting, but you have to truly understand if you want things through manifestation, you have to understand how everything is operated in its universal of its alignments. Okay? Okay, Diane, take it easy. All right, so I just want to show you how powerful and what you can do through the mind. right? And everything that you create has to be telepathy. Has to be. It's the only way you can get calculation, modification, or anything through its modulations. Because everything's set up. Everything's set up. You just have to understand how to get it. You have to learn how to operate it, how to communicate with it through the mind of its imagination, right? You're transmitting and receiving. You're receiving information from the universe, but you have no idea what it is. No idea. So you're going to send something what? You can't send something back if you don't know what it is through operation, right? How are you going to manifest these things? So it's sending you what you want. You just have to understand what it is through vibration. Center position. Don't think of the box outside. Think of everything inside, out, and then describe what it is in dimension of time. Okay? Yeah, you feel it, right? And that's what the school provides. And Jill, you can feel that too, right? This is true understanding how to communicate on what you want through creation, right? That's a whole understanding. I mean, we're trying to get this, we're trying to get that. But if you don't understand that the universe is sending something back and I have no clue what to do, there's the problem. Why? Because you're not meditating. You don't open the mind enough for the universe to come in to you. Space and time comes to you. You don't go to space. Space and time comes to you. And then when it comes to you and you truly understand the operation to its illustration diagram and its map sequences and all that connections, you can go to space. And that's why it's powerful, because now you're traveling, okay, to their level, okay, which is really amazing because you can go to anywhere, any direction, any alignment, go in the future, 50,000 years in the future and come back, right? So that's what I did. That was the connection with me with transformation manifestation, trying to understand the universe. That's why I got into perspective drawing. That's why I got into bionics. That's why I got into $6 Million Man. You know, when it came into, you know, I mean, it's just a TV series, but that's why I got into science. That's why I got into planets. That's why I got into martial arts. That's why I got into movement, right? You have to understand you're in your physical system at a certain timeline. It's for you to understand that the universe is setting you up to the mind of creation, to its imagination. Okay? So, I'm just going to backphrase here. So that's how you create your next home. Okay? Your home is already created. You just have to understand how to communicate back. That's all it is. Transmitting, receiving. Transmitting is coming in, receiving. Okay? You can transmit in or transmit out. Doesn't matter because you got back and forward connections, right? Transmit out, receive in. But when you get to communication, you're transmitting and receiving in and out, in and out, in and out. So you're simultaneously traveling faster, 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 faster. And then it becomes one cycle, okay, of transmitting and receiving together. So the faster it spins, the faster it rotates through the grounds and the power of the atmospheres of time of you through thought, it's already created through the mind of telepathy, right? And it just comes back to you, right? Because now the universe is understanding you. So the first thing you start off is the transmitting and the receiving, right? So you have to transmit, okay, whatever you want, okay? And when you receive it, it's given to you through vibration. So you have to have pattern. You have to have balance with the universe of the mind, okay? Because the mind is trying to understand the universe, and the universe is trying to understand you through the mind. It's trying to understand you through the mind. And if you don't understand that, you're still in the separation. You're still in that ego line system cycle. So you're not transmitting and receiving anymore, are you? Because you're too confused, right? And that's what happens when you go into those adaptation cycle line connections. You have to get into the mind now, people. And that's what's happening. It's going to be an automatic response. So balance that out when you see these things or hear these things. Okay? Especially when you're trying to command these things, right? You command everything inside. Don't let the hand control you. You control everything inside. And everything outside will reflect through its reaction. And that's how it becomes real, through its projection. So great, you understand that. Fantastic. So I'm receiving but not understanding. Hold on, guys. Dos. Gracias. Sorry about that. Remember I told you Monday is the water boys? I can't miss that because it saves me going to the store to pick up some water. So 5 gallon. So clear view on that of what we need to do. And you just have to basically trust yourself, especially when you're going through the mind. Okay, and that's what everybody has to come into. This is how you get things through manifestation. Tips and trades, secrets, to understand how to put these things together, right? So the universe is always, always there for you. Just understand how to communicate with it. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to head over to TikTok. You guys have a fantastic day. Adios.